There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, so come from earth we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we could never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring the master teacher. Bring the freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man, who was Dr. Malachi York,
This free eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. So that means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York,
This free-eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. So that means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York,
This free-eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building this craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. So that means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.
is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York,
This three-eye atlas thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building these crafts in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures are on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about their spirit and soul.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York,
This three-eye atlas thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds. Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building these crafts in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about their spirit and soul.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York,
This three-eye atlas thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs will mess everything up, so hell I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sword myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, And then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet.
Extraterrestrials do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds.
Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building these craft in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.
There's a concentrated stop. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth the lies must fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher, freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be, but we are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring the master teacher, bring the freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, bring the master teacher, bring the freedom for the master. Freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master,
plan and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to lock brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult.
Gorek Amun Tahuti, and we are honored and privileged to have you with us tonight.
Rahubat Moisar Usiaka Raye, student teacher of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, aka also known as Pa Nabab Ya Nanan. Okay, our master teacher who's been guiding us and warning us and preparing us for the great and dreadful day. For those who don't think it's coming or upon us, as many things around the world is showing that significance, that things are changing in the world. And we have to be up to speed. And this is why we've been sent a warner in this day and time. Okay, so Baro, Nabab Nata, Mukdar, Na'ut, Mukdad, Baded, Pata, Na'ut, Mukhlas, Baded, Ya Nun. And we're going to kick off with our affirmation, Patakyud, which will lead us into our class for today, which is no batteries included, dimensional links and DNA. We need batteries? Hey. No volumes coming from that formation. Hey. Come on. Just bear with us, sorry, Moisar. So those who do know it and want to keep up with the frequency and change the frequency and tone, okay, please do. Bab, Nata, Mukdar, Na'ut, Mukdad, Baded, Bata, Na'ut, Mukras, Baded, Yanun. Anuki, Jawef Pa, Ashuk, Empa, Paut, Kalel, Ashuk, Kawun, Jawef, Neya, Anuki, Kasam, Empa, Paut, Pa, Paut, Kawun, Kasam, Em, Neya, Anuki, Wahu, Ame, Pa, Paut, Ba, Paut, Kawun, Wahu, Ame, Neya, Nakok, Kadu, Naju, Ame, Kasam, Empa, Paut, Khaluk, Ame, Mushkas, Nakuk, Kadur, Kawan, Kalal, Pafaf, Nakuk, Arut, Jawef, Pa, Paut, Ame, Wase, Ame, Aradni, Kawun, Laye, Bakoy, Jawef, Pa, Paut, Anuki, Yabet, Biye, Nafashni, Pa, Paut, Kawun, Anuki, Pa, Paut, Kadur, Nakuk, Kadur, Pa, Paut, Amul, Nakuk, Amul. Rahubat Moisa, Rahubat for another great class. And you know, we student teachers aim to do our best to share this wu-SABAT knowledge, information, spiritual information, linked to our ancestors, etc. So this class will be taken by myself and Gorek. As many people obviously have a link to their ancestors that they don't understand or know the formulas or the techniques. So this book kind of like will be highlighting those techniques and formulas, which links into another affirmation master secrets as well, if we get to cover that. But really and truly, this is what the class was focusing on. So this is dimensional links. for those who need to see the visuals, dimensional links, and Nabat, the sacred ash. This is the Master Secrets, series number 3, okay? And we're gonna open up, correct? Yeah, gonna open up with Greg starting to read. And then we'll take questions after the first pages.
Yeah. At Raubat Moisaru, verse 1. Lukum, I Mumrar Harudu
Nadum, Nazar. Right. As I say to those who are probably just joining us, you know, because we're gonna get, you know, people joining bit by bit in increments. We have a policy now. If you do want to speak or ask a question, please raise your hand by using the react button on the lower screen where it says react. It's got a heart shape, and the option is raise your hand. That's the option, raise your hand. So people are obviously familiar with that on Zoom, or if you used Zoom before. So use that for us to then bring you up, and then you can ask your question via Zoom. Okay, with Clubhouse is the same. We can bring you onto the Clubhouse platform, and you can ask your question from there. Okay, Moisa, so I appreciate your participation and cooperation, and we shall continue.
Tartak Zamal. Verse 1. Loikum, I Mumrar Harudu, wu-nuwaup, wu-nuwaupu. For you, my beloved children of wu-nuwaup, wu-nuwaupians. Verse 2. As I, Parnabab Yanun, transcribed for you, Jahar Shalel, I Patar At, jewels of my divine eyes, so much of our renewed story called wu-nuwaup, wu-nuwaup, your way to Tahlus, salvation. Verse 3, you must, Tahum, overstand, mind and mental, spirit and spiritual, omniverse, and wu-nuwaup, universe. So, just for a moment, we've got a very good illustration of what we're going to do tonight. Don't know if you can see, but it highlights the 3 aspects, which include the mental reservoir. And underneath, we've got the deed, the thought, and the living. And this scroll tonight, we're going to explore how that all links into each other. So, if we continue with verse 4, or do we have any questions at that point? Who wants to know what's mind, or the difference between mind and mental, spirit and spiritual, omniverse and universe? No one? Okay. in that event,
Swiftly moving on.
I'll describe it. Right, so mind pertains more so to yourself, and mental refers or points to the mental realm, the mental reservoir. That's the greater, higher mental state which we all tap in and link into. Spirit refers to ourself, our personality, and spiritual, again, that connection with our ancestors. And in the same way, omniverse refers to all the universes that culminates one big organized verse, as it were. So where uni is singular and the individual universe. So in that light, I'll move on to verse number 4. And it says, and the powers of mental reason into akal mind. Verse 5, nakash reason is intellect from outtellect, or zahan an intelligence from outintelligence. Verse 6, this also includes inspiration from outspiration, and that is revelation from contact outside this dimension. Verse 7, all is linked to you. Verse 8, you are something from your links to what atomic weights would call nothingness, mental to mind to mine. Verse 9, Reasoning is mentalism by the rules of Patar al-Patar, natural nature, with the help of other materials in space, and of course, which includes time as in growth into being. Verse 10, reasoning becomes conscience, the distinguisher between right and wrong decisions. Verse 11, and that leads to conscious, creative, zam, energy, divine energy in absolute nature. Verse 12, reasoning reasons out all forms and senses, that which is needed for those forms to grow and survive in accord with and within their surroundings. Reasoning does what comes natural in nature by help of other supporting ether, because ether in general, that is including reason, is the mind at work with and from the reservoir of mental who is present throughout the Kalal Makwan, omniverse. Verse 14, from whom all thoughts and thinking come, to the mind to become mine, or my own thoughts, by way of my own reasoning, reacting with tissue which is material or matter. Verse 15, and matter is something, anything, and everything, and occupies space, the all in all, the universe in omniverse, the thought in thoughts. Verse 16, that produced a damagh brain made of tissue to regulate thoughts as thinking and reasoning. Verse 17, from brain tissue with sparks of synapses, which melts down the physical actions and reactions, produces the intelligence, energy, reason. Verse 18, the ether energy who does all the creative reasoning and guiding into the creation of all things, atoms and cells. So, verse 19, wu-nuwaupians. Brain synapses produce brain actions and reactions, or brain and brain in turns produces reason. Verse 20, nothing is better than Jamed, Saheh, Nakush, sound, right reasoning. Verse 21, and reasoning is mental and mind at work together. Verse 22, general reason is mental but not an individual mind. Verse 23, each is linked to the mental reservoir by no choice of your own. 24, it is the natural of nature, mind link. So I'm just going to stop there for a sec and wanted to touch base to see if anybody's got any questions. If you want to put that in the chat, that'd be great. Alternatively, as my Zamal Hussein mentioned before, go to the react button and raise a hand. While you're doing that, I was just pondering about verse 20, sound, right reasoning. And that includes three things. Sound, which pertains to vibration, because we hear by the vibration of the, is it the tecla? What's that word? The bone?
Cochlea.
Cochlea, thank you. That creates the vibration and in turn sound. And then what's right? As taught by our master teacher, Panba Bianun, you know, we go wu-SABAT, we look into the facts. We don't believe, we explore the truth and therefore believe what is fact. And then the reasoning is that ability, as described before, in when you explore and think, then that it takes you up into the mental reservoir where you have impetus or other impulses from your ancestors which then allows you to come to an educated decision. Do you want to explore some aspects, Zama?
No, it's just I was going to refer back to like what you showed on the mental reservoir, how it all feeds in.
Yes.
So if you look, if those, if you're able to look at the diagram, if you want to take a snapshot or something of the diagram, it actually shows you how it all feeds in, and there's like a feedback loop. Okay, for once, the ancestors, the spirit forces, you as an individual, on the living, relative spirit forces on the as the dead. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. And you have your mind and emotions and spiritual. So when you have the emotions are what fuels these ancestors a lot, as we've explained in many other books and actual facts. Is that once you're given that kind of like wavering feeling, etc., or thought pattern, that energy tends to move, and it also affects by way of your thinking and your reading, about the emotions that is triggered, and which also triggers off your relatives. Okay, so this is something that we have to bear in mind as well. As you draw from the mental reservoir, the emotions can also go into the reservoir, as well as your thinking and your reasoning can come from the mental reservoir. And then coupled with that, your emotions, it can trigger off ancestors, or it can trigger yourself as well to react in a particular way, or either agreeable or disagreeable thoughts may come by way of those. So that's the diagram is a very good illustration as to what's taking place. And this is all happening as well. So sound right reasoning, it's a place to always be at, where you can able to discern and judge things in a balanced state of mind. Are there any questions? Please state your name or you will be removed. Okay, sir. Someone's got a hand up. Theo's got a hand up. Right back, Theo. When you get a message to unmute your mic to speak, please do.
Okay. Just wanted to ask, where is the mental reservoir and who created it?
Okay. The mental reservoir is part of all. Yeah, it's an actual living, existing energy that's always been there. It's always existed. And this mental reservoir is what we all feed into. So in a sense, it's the field of Pa-Natharu, or the Etherians. So Etherians are responsible for creating the mental reservoir by way of all. Yeah, so all has all existing things within it, but if Achahu, or the Etherians, Muachahu, they're the ones that actually create this mental reservoir, this field of energy, and they're the ones that put those thoughts into the ether. You understand? And then those thoughts are put into the ether are then received by us as Nagaru, because as it will go into it, saying that it explains that each of us, even though we're all human beings on this planet, we're all tapped into different parts of the field of the mental reservoir, which pertains to us as a race of people. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Takatira of Wazama. Yeah. Any other further questions before we push on?
No, that's all I got for now.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, continue.
Very good. Continuing from verse 25. It is only when personal tasur arat emotions come into that the reason changes to the reason of I did this, or that is the reason why I felt I should do this or that, go here or there, my own reasons. Verse 26. This happens from outside influences or inside relatives, outfluence in your personal genes of 4 generations. So again, just going back to that image, in the beginning, it shows on your screen, they're referring to the 29 relatives, And that pertains if you're still alive and your parents are still alive, then it becomes 27. So it's 29 because you're still alive. Your parents have moved on, it's -2, and so on. So it's those influences that are also then considered. Verse 27. So wu-nuwaupu, Nuwaupians, reason is mind produced by brain concentration. 28. Reasons produced by synapse parks of colored light or shallow concentration in general thinking creates the atmospheric mind or mental reservoir environment. Verse 29, because it is not dense enough and adhesive enough to be an individual thought being. Verse 30, however, reason produced by heavy or deep concentration called ranum, chanting, and or meditation, and or namus, praying, is thought being formed into actions and links you interdimensionally with your wu-nuwaupu ancestors on the same frequency, vibration, and genetic code as your being, both physically and mentally. Verse 31. These forms of tashud, concentration, is enough to be or become an individual spiritual link because the energy and mental particles in the brain tissue have become blended and is united by sawat, sound, as in a single note or key on a keyboard. If you strike one key, F major, for example, all the F major keys will vibrate with it. Verse 32, none other as the tuning fork will reveal to you. Verse 33, the same with your skull. It vibrates as you natuk, speak, kanu, sing, and ranum, chant. Verse 34, and all others of your genetic origin or salal race can become in tune with you. Verse 35, that is mind link, just a radio station or television channel. Verse 36, when you get on that station or channel, you see and hear images, signals, and sound through space without wires. Verse 37, and now you have 3D TV, so you're able to affect the mind's eye and see dimensional images. 38, Earthman did not have this technology 50 years ago, but it existed. 39, man just did not know how to utilize it. Verse 40, look at how now they are accepting that once a physical person dies, they still exist and are doing any and everything to make a link to Tayaf, ghost, specters, and spirits. Right, and just a quick one, just showing what people are doing at the moment just to make that connection with spirits and ghosts. That shows 6 ether beings trying to make the link with dead spirits by seance or Ouija board. Verse 41, the link between the living and the mawet, dead, will be made only to open the Bawab gateway to the world beyond Tapal world. 42, the Satu Achach, 6 ether, Mukwanu, 6 ether beings, can't make it there, for they have lost their link, which is Ba'ah, soul. 43, well, just like the use of technology, so also in time they would have been able to cruise from 3-dimensional realm to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, onto the 10th, or realm of Sehem Akal, divine mind, and being, if only they had respected the rules of Fater al-Fatar, natural nature. Verse 44, You have this ability now as your mind link has not been cut off, only blocked by interferences of those on a lower level. That's 45. That is your 9 ether blocked by Satu, Achar 6 ether. So you can't bring fourth dimensional sound and images across to the third dimensional realm. 46. Just as a now can transport 3D images and surround sound through space and time to appear real. 47. From the sender to you, the receiver, so also as it was in Kadem Wakut at ancient times. 48. By Mukwanu beings, far more advanced or Muzat Mutar Tal-U, extraterrestrials, who are the old ones. 49. The Mugdamu, ancient ones, existing so much longer, have developed the technology to transport four-dimensional images of themselves through Wakut, time and space. Verse 50. Beholding appearances and seeing seemingly to the onlooker to be there physically, just as 3D TV or cinemas, but without the aid of glasses. So I just want to go back on this in terms of making that connection. The master teacher clearly writes here that 6 ether beings, they could have up to today reached that ability to transmute and progress to 3rd to the 10th realm if they obeyed the rules. And in terms of disobeying the rules, they have not abided by living in one with nature as such. Is that fair to say?
Keep going, my brother.
Yeah, because their actions, which included tweaking with genes, mixing their DNA, caused them to lose that privilege as such. And that is in line with what our mission and as beings here on earth is to be the best version of ourselves and clean ourselves inside out and outside in order to be ready when that transition happens, that we are linked and clear enough and energized enough to make it happen. Want to add to that, Zalon?
No, I think that if there's anything, just maybe pro further from our listening audience who we need some participation. We'd like to participate in what has been explained or what's been taught here. Is there anyone at all that has a thought? Or I can actually, it's funny because I do this sometimes with oh, okay, Theo, go ahead, Theo. Unmute your if you'd like to unmute your mic, we'll unmute your mic once you get the message.
Yeah, I've just got a question when you were talking about the Ouija board and the ether beings communicating with spirits. What happens, it's a bit unrelated slightly, but what happens to animal spirits, like what we consider as pets, like cats and dogs, when they pass?
When they pass?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to take that? It's okay. Right, yeah. We can build.
Okay, so
you might say something.
Yeah, my since they've got spirits, right, and that passes on to the next realm. However, I'm not sure, and again, I'm leaning on
that's socially fine about. Yeah. I mean, what you remember with spirit? There's different, like you say, energy of spirits, of different variations of spirits. So you got animal spirits, you got obviously human spirits that have different dimensional levels or frequencies or vibrations or potency. You understand? So you have the animal spirit essence, which is different to the human spirit essence, which is different to the Nagaru and vice versa, and variations of the different humans that are on the planet. So these creatures, animals, their spirit is linked to that realm or energy realm that they are from. However, as Goreg was explaining, when the experimental and making of the Adamites or the Mukasu race came along, they then blended because I'm glad you posed that question, because it's not just happening on a physical level. Do you see what I'm saying? The matrix and the energy pattern of an animal can fuse with yours, and that can also lead to mental degradation or mental instability. Do you see what I'm saying? So these spiritual, the spirit essence of these creatures reside in that realm that they're supposed to be in, based on their nutational rate, based on their energy frequency, based on their energy pattern and matrix. You see, so when it comes to now, where what happens to them is that they will go back as an energy to that field, that quantum field. If they are mixed in, as some races have unfortunately been mixed in with human animal spirit forces, that manifest within them. Also, it can happen vice versa. They've shown you sometimes in movies, do you know what I mean, as always as a joke, where one person, they do what is called a switch, and the cat's thinking or whatever has gone into a human, and the human's thinking and behavior has gone into a cat, and the cat's behaving like a human being, because you can see, or a dog, should I say, and it's like lifting up the toilet lid to, you know, urinate or etc. So that's what the animal will be doing, and it's because spirit forces can mesh, and once that happens, you can reside, or the spirit essence from that human, because it's dropped down in frequency based on this animalistic, because that is the part of us as too, is that we can drop down to the point where we become demonic, animalistic, etc. And when on that frequency, that's how the spirit forces can be intertwined or coalesce or mix with each other. So you got some human beings who, when they transition, because of that degradation in their spirit and the potency of their vibration, they now have a vibration which resonates with that of the spirit world and can end up being in an animal. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. Does that then mean that cats, dogs, or animals don't reincarnate like humans do?
The reincarnation, yes, they do come back, because all spirits reside in this realm. Do you see what I'm saying? So based on their energy pattern, they will go back into a cat. Based on the energy pattern, they'll go back into a dog. Based on the energy pattern, they'll go into a cow. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they do come back based on their energy pattern, because energy cannot be destroyed. It can only move from one form to another. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that because of what's happened to human beings on the planet, and certain species, specifically the Mukasu or the Adamites, because of what happened to them, they have fallen so low that now they have the potential to actually end up in an animal body.
Okay.
You
I
see
see
what I'm
what you're
saying?
saying. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know, but the actual, because we are actually recycled spirits in just different bodies. The soul portion is different to the spirit portion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. There's a question: what's the difference between ghosts, spirits, and specters? Again, I think it does touch on it on here, but we can go into another book where it talks about that particular subject. But is in essence, you can get a weaker states of energy, and these weaker states can be known as three ether ghost. You can also have spirits that can have different frequency or ranges of energy and potency, and specters are another form of, like, what the master explained as, these are deceased Caucasians who have become orbs of energy, and they're the ones that will incarnate into the child of a six ether or five ether being, because that's what that's the spirit forces is what actually incarnates into them, are known as specters and ghosts or orbs. This what actually they turn into when they transition. They become like little orbs or specters. Okay, so that's for the question for soul, and that's the answer for soul. If you don't understand it, we'll probe a bit further. But I'm going to try and find the actual book.
Adum
ties
Jamal,
into that.
I think Terry Jamal had his hand up as well.
All right, well, wait. Terry Jamal, if you have a question. Oh, sorry. Theo, did we answer your question? I hope so. We answered yours. And Terry Jamal, go ahead.
Sure. I just wanted to make up a follow-up question regarding the cats and dogs in terms of so if they raise themselves to a certain degree, is there a possibility of them coming back as in human form?
No, this is what I'm saying. There's a level. So each being has a potency level. So for the potency level or the degree of energy that they can raise to is up to 5. Do you see what I'm saying? For spirit forces. Yeah. And those spirit forces, it's like there's various degrees of that spirit force. So they can be known as ghosts, they can be known as spirits, they can be known as specters, they can be known as these particular names that's been ascribed to them, because they can only move from one level, so a certain level up to the most amount is 6 ether. Do you see what I'm saying? They can't go beyond that because they don't have the potency, the energy, the strength. Do you know what I mean? That power to move them higher than that. So because the formula that they're made up of can only take them so far. Okay, so there's no cat coming back as or a spirit of a cat coming back as a human being. Do you see what I'm saying? But human beings can lower especially if they're Nagaru, and Nagaru who have mixed their seed with other races, etc., or just throwing out their genes all over the place and mixing over here and there, etc. The potency of your spirit energy, it weakens. And when it weakens, you're in the image and likeness of 6 ether or ghost. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what happens to your matrix. And because of that, you can then potentially end up in one of these animals. But not the other way around, because they can't raise up. They don't have the potency to go any further than that. Does that make sense, Terry Jamal? I'll read a little bit from, are you there, Terry? Are we frozen or is he frozen?
I think Terry probably just needs to be.
No, because yeah, we've just unmuted you. Sorry, yeah, I forgot about the mute thing. All right, I'm gonna read from this is called Patarak the Ghost. Okay. I'll read from verse 42. Those who open up, actually, no, in fact, let me read from verse 40 of Patarak the Ghost, page 4. So verse 40 reads like this. These Kamau Pleiadians who can shapeshift, transfigure, and come as spirit forces like white little orbs, or ghost apparitions, fire orbs, take on human form, angelic form, a grace form, or relatives' image, if the relative have lost their soul. That's what it's saying. If or, now there's the part that you're asking about, or reside in animals. And it says mostly canines, dogs, and felines, cats, even objects, as Sawat voices. Verse 41. It is easy to enter an intoxicated person on drugs, a drunk person on alcohol, a bleeding person, a sick person, diseased or angry person. Verse 42. Those who open up to them are the old religions or those who deal in sacerdotal rituals of sorcery, witchcraft, or blood sacrifices. Verse 43. They can walk into an open person and take over their khatat body. Verse 44. They are the Holy Ghost that possesses people in Holy Church, the Pentecostal, those who practice Santeria and others. Verse 45. The Kakasu, Caucasoids, who hunt, Tayaf art ghosts. That's like, I don't know if you familiar with these ghost hunters. You can watch them on some sci-fi channels and all of these things. But they actually go out of their way to haunted castles and haunted places, and they actually try and utilize in certain instruments to try and detect, you know, these ghost forces. So what he's saying, what the master is saying here in verse 45, the Kakasu Caucasoids who hunt, they're actually called ghost hunters, who hunt Tayaf ghosts, always say the orbs they see are little white balls of light. White light, spirit fire, as they read in their Bible, Acts chapter 2, verse 2, Matthew chapter 3, verse 14, not to be mistaken for crystal orbs. If the orbs are always white lights or fire, why do white people call them dark spirits, not what they see? White spirits, mist, vapor, or gas. They are white spirit orbs, not black or crystal. So, you know, that, yeah, so that ends that verse. So does that make it a bit more clear regarding your question? If you can, again, unfortunately, request to unmute your mic or put a thumbs up or something. Maybe your reaction with a thumbs up would help.
So it does.
Wawe, Tawata. So Theo's question. So can 6 ether beings become 9 ether, or are they limited? They're limited, 6 ether beings. The one that's able to raise their vibrational frequency because of the fact that they have the telomeres, okay, in them is the feminine, or the Femi 6. So if a Femi 6 is to have sexual intercourse or be married and coupled with a Nagaru 9 ether being, they can actually raise by way of their telomeres to become a Femi 9. However, if they go back to a Mukasu male, then they will drop back down. So they have the ability to raise up. You see what I'm saying? In degrees of energy, because they're literally drawing the energy from the Nagaru male. Okay, so again, thumbs up. How do I know what ether I am? By your behavior, by there's 9 ether is the potency of your DNA and your energy helix, okay? But you also have 9, a being that may have 7 curly type hair, we call it 7 ether, all the way to 9 ether hair. They can still be a 9 ether being. You see what I'm saying? The texture of the hair doesn't make you or define you as a 9 ether being. It's your potency. So the potency is the way you conduct yourself. As we were reading from here, when we go back to what 9 ether is, right. You can start from here, you know. 9 ether is the power of mental reasoning. Okay, that's what 9 ether is. Reason is intellect from intellect. Okay, and as it goes on, it reads, reasoning becomes conscience, the distinguisher between right and wrong decisions. So you as a 9 ether being, this is the mental faculty that you have. You have the ability to discern what's right and what's wrong. When your mind gets polluted and it gets degraded, where you're no longer able to discern the difference between what's right or wrong, i.e. persecuting another race, i.e. killing another human being or animal or whatever the case may be, just for the sake of sport, not because your family was hungry and you needed to feed them, just what I'm saying, but just because out of pleasure. Does that make sense? So these are the things, these are the requisites that makes you a 9 ether soul being. Because once you have that, you are able to discern the difference between what's right and what's wrong. While a being that doesn't have that ability or that potency to reason will just go ahead and kill. Yeah, we'll just mute the mic. Your mic is on. Yeah. Sorry, we're just leave that. Sorry, 1 second. We are just mute your mic or something. So we accidentally pressed the wrong button. Yeah. Sorry about that, not doing it. Yeah, so Terry, that's essentially what is discerning. And you can start by looking at your own character. Do you get what I'm saying? What do you normally think of? What do you normally do? What do you normally see that you know, that ain't right? What do you normally reflect on as your own experiences based on where you live and the colonialism that took place that you knew was not right, and the people that were the colonizers knew was not right, or should I say, knew it was not right, but still carried on doing it. Then you go back into your Bible, and it talks about Genesis chapter 6, verse 2 to I think 6, where it talks about the evil that they continually perpetuate and do because it's in their nature. Just what I'm saying. So that's what 9 ether does. It's the reason aspect. And if I just read a bit on, reasons are all forms and senses, that which is needed for those forms to grow and survive in accord with and within their surroundings. Reason does what comes natural in nature by help of other supporting achak ether, because ether in general, that's including reason, is the mind at work with and from the reservoir of mental, who is present throughout the Kale Makwan or Kala Makwan omniverse, from whom all thoughts and thinking come to mind to become mine or my own thoughts by way of my own reasoning, reacting with tissue, which is material or matter. So reasoning comes to the brain and the brain processes it, etc. But it's essentially that ability to discern the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And your soul, your consciousness applies the caring, just what I'm saying, the loving, the aspect of duty, the duty to protect, etc. That is who you are by natural nature. And then you have those who are unnatural in nature who do the total opposite. So I hope that makes it a bit more clear. And then that way you'll be able to know whether you're a 9 ether being or a 6 ether being.
Sound right reasoning model compass,
So if I can reason and determine right from wrong and act good as I can, I'm 9 ether. It's a little bit more than that, because then it taps into other faculties that you have that was encoded in your genes. You see what I'm saying? And these other faculties are intuition. What else is there? Clairvoyance, telepathy, psychometry. Okay, there's certain aspects that is inherent within you as a Nagaru that allows you to be selfless. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately we are divine love. We are divine love in embodiment in a body. And our job, or we as a race, is to raise back up to become that we were originally were. Just what I'm saying, etheric beings who were creating the universes and existing in different pockets of the universe. The reason why we came into this skin suit in the first place was to do certain things, perform certain acts. And then a portion of us, I mean, we're digressing a bit, but I have to explain. A portion of us, we were supposed to be raised from a certain planet that died in a Sirius star system. So that ties into how we ended up here in the first place on Earth, because we had to relearn. You see what I'm saying? We had to relearn. And the only way to relearn, according to the natural rules of nature, is you go back to the beginning again. You have to start learning to navigate your environment as a human being. You have to understand your human body and how it works. You have to understand how nature and sound and all of these things work. how to love and respect each other, these are the steps for you to become and grow to become an Ethereal again, because we kind of lost that those mental inherent powers. Is that okay? Tawata Theo for the thumbs up. If there's anything else, then we can continue. Let's put that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I stole your book.
I think also just in terms of the clarity, and I think it's mentioned earlier in the scroll about how the six ether noise and sounds interfere with you establishing and maintaining your clarity. And that can be, they do this by Hollywood and movies and all those, music and the rest. So yeah, through the chanting and meditation, as we do as a whole on a regular 9 a.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m., 3 a.m., that reinforces that divineness in yourself as part of your journey, seeking to reinforce that resilience or strength, you said?
The potency, yeah.
Potency.
Just as I was scrolling, there's another part which you tapped into. So, regarding the question you asked about spirits, etc. So, it's also this again from Patarak, the ghost. Verse 51 says, in their Christian churches, they have doctrines on exorcising the devil, demons, the dead. Exorcise, exorcism, exorcist in their Bible. The book of Exodus means departure. So that's where you get exorc, yeah? Yet where do the ghosts go? And then that's the question. Into or another person. Revelations 18:2. Yeah, and you can, I think, what's the movie that Denzel Washington? Fallen, innit? Fallen. If anyone has not seen this movie, the master teacher recommended it. Yeah, that will show you how spirit energy doesn't die. It just moves from one state. But I'm going to read this, and then when you watch the movie, it will kind of like solidify your understanding. Yeah. So verse 52 in Matthew chapter 12, verse 26, it is the Kakasu, Kokosoids, casting out their own dead. Verse 53, really, all they're doing is casting them into this Tapao world. From the wormhole they claim to see as the light once they're dead. So, people in deathbed saying, I saw the light, etc. Well, it's a wormhole, okay? And that's what the master explaining, that it's a wormhole, and that light brings their spirit forces into this realm. Yeah, verse 54. A bright white light beckoning them to enter, as well as bringing evil, satanic, ka'au spirits into this world, in spiritual Baptist church, in holy roller and Pentecostal churches, and through voodoo and Santeria. Verse 55. People invoke ka'au spirits into the world of the living, and is why so much evil exists. Verse 56. They use Nagaru, Negroids in their cover religions to bring their spirit forces into this world by singing, dancing, chanting, gospels, and hymns. Verse 57. They know Nagaru, Negroids' vibrations are a higher level, so they draw them into their religions to use as tuning forks, be it Mosism, Jesusism, or Mohammedism, and its many forms. I'll pause there. I did a class some time back, and I was explaining that your body, Master Teacher explained that is a tuning fork. You literally are a tuning fork. So when you look at the Ankh is a tuning fork. It's a replication of not just the birth canal and etc., but it's also a replication of the human body. And it's another word for it is Thet. And also even in some cultures, I know that from the Akan culture of Ghana, they have the Kwabado, which is taken from the Ankh. So these are actually representations of tuning forks. And what a tuning fork is, your body is a natural tuning fork because it has crystals. Your bones are actually made up of crystals called I've forgotten the name. hydropaxite. I've forgotten the name. That's not coming to me. But these crystals are formed in a collagen, and your collagens actually crystallize crystals. So this goes back into, you know, osteoblast and bones, etc. So this particular body of ours that we're carrying is a natural tuning fork. That's why when it talks about the chanting and the singing, etc., you're literally creating an energy, a tuning fork energy of a particular tone and frequency, which opens up a gateway. And once this gateway is open, these, you know, disembodied spirits, forces can come in and they can walk and seep them into your body. Okay, so this is what's taking place. So verse 58, even extraterrestrials appear to many as transparent, coming through walls or ceilings in ghost form to take people with them. Verse 59, these Rumadu Greys work by their masters, reptilians, Te Namu, Dragonians, who eat flesh of animals and humanoids. Okay, I'll pause there. I think it's going to go into another topic and subject there. So I hope that's much more clearer. But yeah, seek out the movie Ghost. Not Ghost. Ghost, actually, Ghost, another one. Ghost and Fallen. Sorry, Jamal.
No, that's fine. Right. Proceeding from verse 51.
Kobe's got a question. Right, we'll come to you, Kobe, after we read this verse. Yeah. Oh, you know.
Well, let's listen to what Kobe is asking.
Okay.
Because I think it's the
might link, yeah.
Go ahead, Kobe.
Kobe, yeah, if your mic gets you see the message, please unmute your mic and speak.
Rahubat.
Rahubat, Kobe.
So my question was mainly around, you may have answered it already, where you mentioned the Hamak Pleiadians, and how they basically transfer their energy through orbs, or they come into this plane through orbs, if I heard that correctly. Where do the orbs come from? I think I've heard something about LED lights before, but where do these orbs come from? And if there's a breakdown you could give behind that.
Do you want to touch on it? Where do the LED lights come from?
No, the orbs.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah. Like, so for example, I work in the gym, so there's LED now. They just changed the lights, right? They just changed it, and they're saying they're using LED lights now. So obviously it's brighter, but I don't know. Maybe from having 9 mind and just being using my intuition a little bit more, I'm feeling an effect and a change when I'm around all of these lights. I just wanted to know whether the orbs are working through that, or if I'm confusing things. And
no, 100% correct. We as we said, we have a Warner who updates us with much information, and he has mentioned that there is preferable to try and get incandescent light bulbs, etc., because these LED lights are being pushed in. And what they do is they attract these orbs and these specters into your home.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, it's really hard to get these lights nowadays. I remember when I read that, I went to go and buy X amount of bulbs thinking, yeah, this will last. But the sad thing about these, the ones with the filaments, they blow.
Yeah.
And you know, you go be also cost cutting in energy, etc. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're keeping it real, but the master has guided us anyway. I'm not saying, you know, what the master has said is 100%, and you know, he's given us all that information, etc., to utilize sound right reason like you're doing. But unfortunately, I remember this so clearly, and this was years ago. So when that's now, you can see, I could literally see the slow transition from incandescent filaments, etc., all the way to now you can hardly find any. It's really hard. You have to go and start searching just to find. And even then, they've been decommissioned. You know, they're no longer in stock. You know, so yeah. But there is an update where he talks about that and what you can replace it with, if I can find it. Let me make a note so that I can we can read it at the end of class. Opposed to interrupting class.
Oh, Tatsuma. And are there any other, like, so apart from the LED lights, is there anything else that can project these orbs into your environment?
Sorry, say that again.
So apart from the LED lights, are there any other instruments that can be used, like just on a daily basis, that can project these orbs into your environment?
If these daily, sorry, because I'm getting a bit distracted, I was trying to. That said, there's no
That's
sound in
fine.
Clubhouse. Say that again.
No, that's fine. I get this all the time. So yeah, are there any other things that we use on a daily basis that might be projecting these orbs into our environment?
What other things? It's Christmas lights. They're mostly LED lights and stuff, but it's all forms of lights really.
Okay.
Yeah,
like strobe lights as well, those kind of things.
Yeah, all these kind of energy frequencies, they attract them. It attracts them, yeah. So it's the best thing to do is minimize it. You see what I'm saying? Play the tones that we have, because obviously it weakens, burn your sage, it weakens them.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? All of these things, these are all different practices.
Yes.
That we can use in order to counteract. Yeah.
Overstood, Zamal. Tauta.
Antakatira 4. My clubhouse is. Yeah. It's done this. I'm trying to start a new one, but it says there's an error.
Right, Musa.
Go ahead.
In the meanwhile,
I'll
carry on. Right. So, continuing from verse 51, and even far more advanced teleportation of actual cells, tissues, and damag brain signal.
It's just rough.
Right. I think the ancestors wants to give me a message. Right. So let me start again. Verse 51. And even far more advanced teleportation of the actual cells, tissues, and damag brain signals. 52. And Munzal, an incarnated one in Bashar, human flesh, and Damam, blood, or to come in the person as they, in world Za'am, religion, opinion, all claim their prophet experienced. Verse 53. What do you think, Mukhabatu, angels, really are? Let me say that again. Verse 53. What do you think Murbatu, angels, really are? 54. Who do you think Tayaf, ghost, really are? 55. Now you hold in your hands a cell phone, and it can receive 3D images and cinemas. 56. If you had that 50 years ago, what would those who did not know what it was think? 57. Now all you would have to be given is projection outward from your cell phone, and the image could be projected out in space, appearing to be right there, or in fact is right there. 58. All this is the brain tissue at work, reasoning out things, putting together formulas that yield results. 59. All by way of heavy or deep tashud concentration on your muslafu ancestors, the genetic link spiritual to spirits. Verse 60. The inner saham power exists as the TV exists. 61. All man needed was the formula to make it work for them the way they wish. 62. The power of concentrated energy is enough to be or become the link because of the energy and Hammam Saad's black magic, dark matter, and dark energy that still exists in your Khatat body as the first world race, Pa Tahites. 63. The black magic particles of mind have to become blended and wahuda united mentally and physically with vocal magnetic pressure and black magic link by voice. 64. Your race and mental concentration in profoundness gives mind, black mind motivation, direction, and power to act in unity with itself and by itself. 65. Nuwaupu. Nuwaupu, Nubians, you have the Sahamat powers because reason is concentrated, mind linked to the mental reservoir in which both the living and the dead are linked. 66. It is genetically programmed to do what Tashut concentration calls for. 67. An obligation to do that which comes natural by nature, just as when your tone or Ranan name is sounded out, you respond to that sound. 68. The same is for the Ha'ah Tapal spiritual world. 69. They hear you and they see you, yet you have a brick wall up because of what you have been taught by 6 ether forces incarnated as Kakas Nadu, Kakozoid, who block up all the airwaves with their own voices and images. And that just links to what I mentioned before about Hollywood, radio stations, etc., etc. So verse 70. So you can't hear nor see your own Nasabu relatives or Muslafu ancestors. 71. Your one choice to believe their religious lies about animism or link to your own Azhab culture. 72. Wu-nuwaup. Wu-nuwaup is here to relink you to your own. 73. The reasoning of your own natural nature as Parthaites, who originates and grows persons and things into system order, is deep Tashud concentration on black genetic magic or your chemistry, also called alchemy. 74. We as Nadu Negroids are the metal copper, as that is what Naga means, copper or metal copper. And as metal or matter, it must be transformed into gold. That's copper to gold. 75. Alchemy changes base metal into gold. So we are called. And then it's got an image here. Don't know if you can see it, but there we go. Of the Cham and then the M, and it's combined as Chem. Or it can be called Chamam-u, Cham, Ham, Ha'am, Chamat, Kemet, which is essentially chemicals. Verse 76. We keep the secrets of Tayuth transformation, transportation, levitation, teleportation, transmutation, and translation. 77. The black magic or black magnetic mind power that brings the science powers of matter and vacuum. 78. And that is done by phases of general reason that borders an individual spirit strength into one. 79. Yet individual spirit powers do not create physical things unless they are willing and ready to be used in the growth of the creation and not to be an individual by a genetic group as one. And I think that is profound. It highlights the essence of WU-SABAT. We living as a culture, we operating as one in Ashuk or divine love, and we don't depend on individual energies, but understand the power of the unit, power of many. Just want to check in. Do we have any questions at this stage? Right. We've got Ricardo asking, how can I connect to my ancestors if the chances are they have reincarnated back here?
You have many, many ancestors. It's not just one ancestor. So when you have to be a bit more specific. You're talking about like a loved one, someone that transitioned just the other day, a year ago. You with me? And you have to realize as well that what the time that they govern by is different to the time that you're currently residing in as a three-dimensional being. So in their realm, there is no time. So when they are being prepared to come back in your time, you could have passed on. Does that make sense? Yeah, or they, depending on what they have to do as a immediately, they might come through one of your relatives who's been carrying a child and will pass, will come into a child born from one of your relatives, okay, or one of your children. So it all depends on what stage you're referring to. Does that make sense, Ricardo? Is it Ricardo? Yeah, Ricardo.
Yeah. And I think just to latch on, I think it's also, it's a spiritual or soul connection. So whether you need for advice or guidance or assistance,
exactly.
Either way, they will be there. And like you say, if they reincarnated back here through a child or whatever, then that person could facilitate in that request or need that you may have at that time.
So yeah, it's quite. I mean, you have to be a bit more specific when you say how can I connect because you are connected to them. It's not that how can you. It's about strengthening that connection. We're all connected to our ancestors. It just acts as Goreg was explaining that they've created a mental field of blockages. Yeah, and those mental fields of blockages are in the form of radio waves, TV waves, all different kinds of distractions, etc. So your mind link is weaker. So our job is to detract ourselves from all of these distractions and focus on developing ourselves. And the more that we develop ourselves through the various things that we mentioned earlier, I'll go back to verse, is it that way? Okay, yeah, so what's that? Okay, Right, verse 30. It says, now further, I'll read from verse 28. Should we go to 27? Let's read 27. Yeah, 27. So, go on. Yeah.
So,
my link, yeah?
So, wu-nuwaupians. Reason is mind produced by brain concentration. Verse 28, reason produced by synapse sparks of colored light or shallow concentration in general thinking creates the atmospheric mind or mental environment. 29, because it is not dense enough and adhesive enough to be an individual thought being.
Yeah, so pause there. So as you read in here, it says here, reason is produced by synapse sparks. Yeah. So, and then it goes, verse 29 says, because if you're just generally thinking, you with me, it won't be as potent as if you are focused in your thinking. And the way that you are focused in your thinking process or your concentration progress is what verse 30 alludes to. So,
however, reason produced by heavy or deep concentration called ranum chanting and or meditation and or namus praying is thought being formed into action and links it interdimensionally with your muslafu ancestors on the same frequency, vibration, and genetic code as your being both physically and mentally.
Pause there. So it mentions some things here, or the main crux, the backbone of what it is. So it links you interdimensionally. So this dimension and other dimensions, yeah, because you're a 9-dimensional being. And it says, with your Muslafu ancestors, your ancestors don't just reside on one dimension. They reside on several dimensions, okay? On the same frequency. Now, what's our frequency? Our frequency is FAC. So you can be speaking the English language, but you can only do so much. You see what I'm saying? You're limited. The real reason is to go back to learning our language, because our language, puts you on the frequency of channel 9, let's just say, okay? And the frequency and the vibration, wait for it, and genetic code. What's a genetic code? A genetic code is a series of data that has been encoded, which means it's been written in a particular way. What is that genetic code? Miss Batia, speaking our language. Because as we're speaking our language, it's reconfiguring your genetic code, because your genetic code has become scrambled. It's become scrambled because we're speaking none other than the English language, which unscrambles our code. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have to be on that genetic code as your being, both physically and mentally. So you got to be behaving, acting, doing by way of wu-SABAT, which is what your original natural nature is, wu-nuwaupu, and then also by way of your mental. So now you have to be thinking and processing with right reasoning. Reasoning is deep concentration. Reasoning is mind. You are a mental being. So you're supposed to be thinking on a mental level, i.e. mental is unity, as Goreg was explaining. We have to come back as one body and become unified in one mind. And that's when we're able to build great feats like the pyramids and things like that, or have a great empires and other aspects of our culture long time ago. But as we still have this individual mentality based on sixth ether thinking, it makes it harder, not difficult. Sorry, not impossible, should I say, but it makes it harder, okay, for us to unify. Just what I'm saying, the master teacher has given us a formula. This is the formula. These are the steps. This is the guide. He's a warner and a guide. Listen to what the angel has to say to the people. Okay. If you want to continue.
Yeah, I just want to also acknowledge Ricardo's question. So deep concentration and focus allows you to communicate with ancestors. As Zamal Usair mentioned earlier, we are a tuning fork. And once we go into that meditation, we want to align ourselves with our ancestral's vibration. And like I mentioned before, doing our chants at 9, 3, 9, and 3 a.m., that allows us to get into that space. It allows us to align as such, and therefore it strengthens that potency. I hope that answers the question, Ricardo.
It's Theo asking this question. Does it say Ricardo for you? Sorry, Theo. Maybe we're reading. Well, it's shown as Ricardo, but yeah, it's okay. You've corrected us, so yeah, Ricardo. I mean, Theo, if it answers your question, that's all we are concerned about.
Yeah, it's me asking the question, so I was playing it by saying Ricardo.
I don't know. That's what it was showing, so we were just going Ricardo, but
that's
Ricardo, I hope you also gain the answers as well. Yeah. Okay. Any further questions before we move on?
Very good. Verse 80. That which is original reason, when Nuwaupians were made into form by the creative energy who grew this one wu-nuwaup universe inside the omniverse of natural nature and the original persons, petides, and things of them, atoms, the building blocks of life. Verse 81, that is Nupu, and the one is spelled N-U-P-U, and the other one is N-U-P-U, the signs of natural nature, the original creative force. And we've got an image here of Nupu, the signs of natural nature portrayed in hieroglyph form. Verse 82, original reason is primary reason. 83, original reason, Tasu Makash, 9 reason. 84, wu-nuwaup becomes wu-nuwaup, or we say wu-nuwaup, nuwaup, or nupu. For each new dawar at shalel, shamut at cycles of years, it's nuwaup and wu-nuwaup, or nupu, wu-nupu. Verse 85, wu-nuwaup, wu-nuwaup beings, Tasu Nakash, 9 reasoning, and 9 mind, which is 9 etheric beings cycle. 86. Tasu Achach, 9 ether, in general, and is indeed Tabauth, resurrection of the mental dead, with the Katatal, physical dead. Then we've got an image of the Ankh and the Anktui, the symbols of life. 87. People who wish to remain ignorant about the Hakak actual facts and rules of our natural nature are in a coma state, deep sleep, or Hajay Shalal Nawam, spell of sleep. 88. Wu-nuwaup is the positive Sahamat powers of nature that reveals the Hakikat fact of positive nature to you as wu-nuwaupu Nuwaupians. Verse 89. And Zupu, Zuen, Zion. Zupu spelled Z-U-W-P-U or Z-U-P-U. Is the negative powers of unnatural nature that covers up facts and sawab, truth, with religion's hazabat, lies, and opinions, fictions, legends, history, historical, historiography, that of a historian who tells his story about all others past. And here's the hieroglyph depiction of unnatural nature. Verse 90, the liar of all, Mushaba Uru, liars. 90, Nana, Zuen, Enzu, Zionists, and their religious books, from Torah to Talmud, from Gospel to Catechism, from Quran to Hadith, the use of world media, TV, computers, cinemas, books, plays, and on and on. 92, all to promote Zupu, zippy, full of energy, brisk, quick to lie, kill, steal, deceive. 93, Zupu is zippy, to reveal the facts of negative, unnatural nature, ready to clone, graft, crossbreed, or transplant. 94, his whole life is a fake, fabricating his greatness on the screen. 95, lies about himself, make-believe. 96, all made up by him, about him, the secret way to finance his Salal race, which has nothing to offer others. Any questions up to this point? We've got one from Kumar Abduli.
Can a fetus be manipulated into a gender of our choice? Well, that kind of like goes back to what we were saying in earlier about Zupu. Zupu has imparted his negativity on natural nature by doing cloning and all these different genetic experiments. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's unnatural to what nature naturally will produce. You see what I'm saying? So that's six ether forces will be doing that. So they actually influence the minds of their children on this planet who are in physical form, you know, to perform these different acts. So the manipulation of that is by way of them, where gender is affected, because part of also that aspect is that the female, because obviously she carries the child, is affected in the sense that she's receiving all these images. These images, they stimulate hormones into the bloodstream of the mother. And if the hormones are not balanced, this is what causes gender issues in a child. So it's not really that fetuses can be manipulated into gender, not really of our choice, but more by way of influence and things that affect us, you know, with all the different chemicals, etc., that are going on with the mother's emotional state when she's carrying the child. So it's very, very important for when a woman is carrying a child, or you know, your partner, etc., that she's in a very calm and peaceful state, due to the fact that what is secreted, you know, by way of glands. We're going with gland now. There's certain glands that secrete the hormones, which produces the male gender and the female gender, and determines the sex. But that's just one aspect as well. And then you also have the frequency and the vibrational energy that also that gender will become. So if it's a spirit energy, it can be feminine. And if it's a masculine, there's feminine and masculine energy that can also be attracted to the child based on his frequency, on his vibrational frequency. So that also can also incarnate into the child. And so the child can be born confused, gender confused because of that. And then, yeah, there's various different ways that a child, you know, can be born with, you know, transgender. So is that, so can that be the cause of transgenderism? Yes, that's part of the cause of transgenderism. That's right. So is this the confusion of the genes? There are natural ones that are born as well, okay, by way of their spirit gender, and they're known as a hermaphrodite and hermaphrodite, or manakshtatwi, we call them. They're known as gatekeepers. So what these gatekeepers are, they're naturally in tune with both realms, but they're born by way of having two vibrational frequencies, a dual frequency. So one can be born having a female body and have a male spirit, or a male body and a female spirit. If you're talking about gender assignment in the sense of having a penis and a vagina, or, you know, having breasts and then the penis, etc., that's more of a genetic defect that's taken place. I hope that answers your question, Theo. That is Theo, right? That's
Theo. Thank you for clarifying.
That's Theo. Yeah.
Right, Zamalu, Kobe's had his hand up for a long time as well.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. Kobe, you're up next.
Robert. So, you were just talking about Zupu and Nupu. From my current understanding on Zupu and Nupu, I understand that Zupu was the red zone and Nupu was the green zone. Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so was that actually formulated on the map of the world, like where the red zone is and where the green zone is? That makes sense.
Sure, yeah, the master did break that down. I can't remember. I think it's in can't remember. If anyone can remember what does the demarcation of zones are, please assist, but I can't remember. There is a reading existence, how and why. I think it's in there, but it doesn't go into the actual zones as much, where it starts from and where it ends. But there's actually an I'm gonna have to look for, there's two updates. Let me look for the updates that the master gave, and then I can read from there.
I've got a quick follow-up question to that.
Okay.
But feel free to carry on looking.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to understand is, with, say you have disagreeable Nagaru. I guess my question is, are they always aligned with Zupu or the red zone? Is there always an alignment there, or could they have been from the green zone and still been disagreeable and move towards the disagreeable acts that they do, if that makes sense?
Sorry, ask that again.
So for example, you have people, I'm just gonna say exactly how I'm trying to formulate in my mind. So you have people in Africa that do witchcraft, for example.
Yeah.
So would that come down from a line of Zupu, or would that be something that still happened within Nupu, if that makes sense? Because Zupu, I'm thinking religion, and Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff, which isn't necessarily witchcraft.
Religion is witchcraft.
Okay. Is all witchcraft religion?
Is the name, the appellation that has been ascribed to it is called religion, but really it's Wicca.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So the Wicca, the different manifestations of Wicca is religion, which they've used as their power base to affect all others. But that Wicca is from the Mesopotamian area, when Enlil and the 24 the 200 were teaching them about sorcery and other, herbs and things like that to use to place a spell on the Nagaru race.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So Zupu had somebody's written it down. Okay. Zupu there's literally a
Jamal, sorry, I sent you the map with the Zupu on your Telegram.
Oh, wait. Okay, so
Teletype.
Okay, teletype. 1 second, just go to Telegram. Okay, right. So here's the zones. Right, the green zone was West Zone, America to Arabia, inclusive of India. That was the green zone. Originally herbivores. One, Afafree Kaau, Africans. 2, Dravadu, Indians. Zupu, East Zone, Mesopotamia to the far east, Red Zone. Originally omnivores, Atralu, Aboriginals. 2, Mangalu, Asians. Originally carnivores. 1, Kakasu, Caucasoids. This is from the source of this information is A Nation of Our Own. This is a part 2 of Nation of Our Own. So the Nupu zone, you had Reye as our overseer, Nataru, herbivores, hominids, and dinosaurs. Zupu had Anu, which was their overseer, Anuna, which is the original name before they became Anunnaki. And these were consisted of carnivores, omnivores, hominids, and dinosaurs. So that was the red zone. So I don't know if you want me to repeat that again. Okay.
If so, and I'm just thinking, because what you just described, this is just the way I've taken it. Africa kind of sits in the middle.
Tour.
So is it half and half?
Remember though, you're looking at the current map.
Yes.
So you have to bear in mind that all the land masses was together. So when the master is giving us this, he's giving us as a reference as to where it would have been, but really and truly the land masses were together. Now the land masses are being changed and chopped, etc., and there's been tectonic plate movement. So what you're seeing now is so imagine you have to look at the old maps of the planet or what they've drawn diagram of what it potentially may have looked like for you to get a rough idea. You see what I'm saying?
Has the master teacher ever like produced any old maps?
Not that I'm aware of. He probably wouldn't, but with that, I think Let's Set the Record Straight, which is an old, well, not old, but one of the books that was released in the 90s, that kind of like alludes to and shows you when the Greenland and other places were together, because remember Greenland, it was frozen at one time. That's how the Dravidians were able to come to North America, because they went along what they call today the Bering Straits, which was like a frozen piece of land at one time, like in the what they refer to as the Pleistocene era, which is like what do they call it now? They give it a name. They give it all these kind of names, but the Ice Age, that's it. The Ice Age. So during the Ice Age, a lot of migrations took place. Do you know what I mean? To move from one place to another to seek land, more fertile land. So along with the dinosaurs migrating, also humans were migrating. It actually showed you in the movie Ice Age. The cartoon children movie. So it shows you that there's a great migration. You know, dinosaurs, many other hominids became extinct because of that. You know, and this is what took place. So the land masses were together, volcanoes, eruptions, etc., separate the land masses. Some of the hominids, Homo naledi, etc., Homo habilis, and all of these other ones got stuck in certain places. And then it gave the opportunity for extraterrestrials now, you see what I'm saying, to take and pick as they choose what they wanted to use and experiment on.
Okay. Last thing, if that what Sir Ken has just sent you, are you able to share that in a group chat?
Yeah. I can share that on the wu-nuwaup. Sorry, our Sabatia Kayat. I can put that on there, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Antakatira for doing that right now.
Very good. I shall continue reading from verse 96. Think, wu-nuwaupu, Nuwaupians, remove all of his media in all ways, all his theatrical activities from his actors and actresses of any kind, be it commercials or cinemas, plays, modeling, sports, and public appearances. Remove all of that you see around the clock in front of you. 99. Look at TV and see just how many of them they pay to live as they do, have wealth to alter their bodies. 100. They have created a whole system of hazab art lies to make their own race wealthy, get the image, and live the good life. 101. Or they would be poor, or they would be poor, the poorest race, if they did not pay and offer their own free money. 102. Just stop for a moment and reason. Zahut, concentrate on this. 103. What would most of them have to do if they did not create negatives? 104. What would those in the penal system of law do? 105. What would their soldiers do? Law enforcement personnel? What would they do? Judges, lawyers, wardens. 107. Look at the whole system of government. 108. It's all based on negatives, and they pay their raise to do nothing but manage negatives, promote negatives, broadcast negatives. 108, 109. The whole media is them, top to bottom. Ways to give out money to their race, to promote negatives, even for the news, all negatives. 110. Any carcasoid who picks up a guitar and yells, get paid. And 5 or more carcasoids, boys or girls, who stand up and scream out their nose, they will make a supergroup or stars. 111. Paying them to do nothing. Advertise clothes made by wu-nuwaup, Europeans. 112. Most fast food restaurants are owned by European countries. All Celtics. 113. Look at the sports teams they own. 114. They don't play, yet they get paid. 115. They just find ways to give their race money, make them rich all day in any way, to be it lotto, TV game shows, win this or that, 1,000 to 1 of any other's race who wins. 116. It's always Celtic, Celtics they give the money to. 117. Their race doesn't have to do anything. In fact, they don't know how to do anything or have anything to offer. 118. Now, wu-nuwaupu, Nuwaupians, when you look at TV or watch a cinema, look at all they use from stars to stand-ins. 119. The actors do what? Act out life and lies to make them look super or sexy and pay them for nothing. One 120. Just think, what would most of them be doing if they were not giving all the wealth for doing nothing by acting out lies or fictions? 121. Kaznadu, the Caucasoids, doesn't know how to work or do things. Why? 122. Because they used foreigners for 400 years, slaves or others, to do the work for them. 123. Look at who you see building the homes, doing all the house and yard work. 124. Foreigners, not them. The lazy, shiftless race of people. Nadu, the Caucasoids. 125. They use others to do everything for them, so they don't know how to do anything but drink, take drugs, and watch others. 126. Now that their time is up, they see other Salalu races that are rich, that they can't bear or control. They're going crazy, killing their own. 127. Every day on TV, you see them come back from wars, crazy, killing each other. Why? TV, cinemas, lies of greatness. 128. They can't fight. They can't even fight their own fight. They need NATO or computers. 129. They can't fight like on TV or the cinemas, lies of greatness. 130. If they kill others, they are not considered as killers. They're just sick. 131. They get away with crimes all day, over and over. 132. They forgive their own, and if they're a celebrity, they just put them back in the cinemas and give them even more money. 133. It's all about the negative minds, lies, deceptions, negative propaganda, zupu, zapu, zuen, the hadad shalal nawar wu-narar, deity, God of light and fire, Nana, An-Na, An-Nuar, Lucifer. 134. They say, enter or trust the Laben Nawar, white light, Laben Sha'ad's white magic, white spirit, Laben Mutayat Mutaifu, white ghost, Kakdesh, pure holy, Taher, pure white. 135. Mughzabura, liars. And that concludes that scroll, which is your dimensional links.
Okay.
Do we have any questions as such, or?
I got Kobe's what he wanted a bit more detail. Okay, it's portion of it is in the Black Book Part 1, but there's also an update which is coming from Parnababianon. The plan was to terraform this planet. So it says here it's basically, these are types up from when the master teacher was writing a lot and giving it to his wives, etc. Those who don't think that he was the one writing this information. So it says here, just trying to find Nupu, ruled by Natharu, the west world for all herbivores. 2, Zupu, ruled by Anuna, the east world for all carnivores. This separation was the 2 worlds of this planet, down to the Indian Ocean. So I'm just going to pause there if you want to map this out or trace or write it down. Down to the Indian Ocean, upward to the Arabian Sea, upward to the Red Sea, on west of Iraq, over north of Syria, across the Mediterranean Sea, over across and into the North Atlantic Ocean, upward over Hudson Strait to Hudson Bay, upward over Amundsen Gulf, across down North Pacific Ocean, downward to the South Pacific Ocean. I hope you caught that. This
I caught it, but sorry for tapping so much. I caught it, but at the same time,
it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, you just read through it. So
yeah, I'll just read through it.
Just continue. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. This was the borders of the West World, where only herbivores were to live together. 17. Outside of that was the East World for all the carnivores of land, sea, and air in both Nupu and Zupu on Tamaray. From 24 million years down to 12 million years, when a reptilian species violated the rules and crossed over from the West World to hunt the creatures of the West World to eat. So a new plan was needed. That is because once this happened, the wall, there was an actual wall that was created. Okay, the wall, the wall came down, and carnivores began to cross over and kill all of the herbivores, and the reptilians even would hunt and eat the Sun's people. This upset the Natharu, so something had to be done to stop this, or the divine plan would stop. Verse 20. So down to the 6th millionth year, we had enough of this killing. We had enough of this killing and bloodshed in the West World by those of the East World, great dinosaurs and all kinds of beasts. Verse 21. So 6 million years ago, we decided to make a 6-mile ball of fire from 1 element of 77 iridium, 2 element 78 platinum, 3 element 79 gold, to send down to this planet into the Yucatan Sea and wipe out many of the carnivores, dinosaurs, and exile all reptilian aliens from this planet. Verse 22, yet first we had to protect the first world people, the sun's people. So we sent them down, let me start again. So we sent them deep into the underworld of earth to be safe. 23, not all of them, for many had migrated northward and even eastward. So the 6 million across meteorite 6 million years ago crashed down into the Yucatan between the east and west worlds, followed by 3,000 giant orbs of stone casted upon the lands, which was to create 6 whirlwinds and disrupt the weather, from sandstorms to acid rain to hurricanes. The sea balled up giant waves, and the plan worked. Many of the dinosaurs who were carnivores was burnt or buried under layers. The wall was never put back in place, and all was well. Hyper whirlwinds lasted for 6 days and broke down the environment for those 6 days. The original Sans people of South Africa were saved and returned to the surface. From Sirius was sent 3 species of Galal Karadu, great Homo simian, one with dark fur, one with red fur, and the other with white fur. This leads into your Kabir Kadam breakdown now, actual facts. Each placed on the 3 parts of the planet while in Far East. Red is Middle East and dark in West. These are your ape man. In time, these also went underground. This planet in time became inhabited by many aliens, one being a shape-shifting group from Nibiru called Anuna, who first came 240,000 years ago, along with a humanoid transparent pale white group called Mukma'u Pleiadians. And before that were many invaders of the reptilian species, such as these, to name a few: Mudganu, snake men; Mudbabu, lizard men; Mutnanu, dragon men; Mudgagu, male men, 28, of both genders. These were called by the Anuna U-Shumgal. You will find its root meaning in ancient Semitic dialects. U-Shumgal or Shumgal, illuminate, sky, mighty, strong wheel. Many called them dragons of the skies, flying serpents. These were the crafts they flew. So many beings came to this planet long before the making of the hybrid race of Adamites. The planet in time was to be ruled by 2 groups. Both had their most high Reye, Anu. That's what I just read from the map. That was posted by Seken. Westworld, Eastworld, Nataru, Anuna, Anakim, Muntaru, Umuanaku. And over this universe was above both of them, Pa, Marzaku, or Razaku, the Etherians. These beings are our own Muslafu ancestors, as Pa Khamen Salau, the black race, originally of the Westworld. Pa Labin Salau, the white race, is originally of the Eastworld, as well as Pa Safir Salau, the yellow race of the Eastworld. Each had their own landing sites. In the Westworld, it was Heliopolis in Egypt. In the Eastworld, it was Baalbek in Lebanon. Then other sites was established elsewhere. Both sides had their undersea energy sources. The Westworld is now called the Angel's Triangle. The Eastworld is called the Devil's Triangle. Each side had their own pyramid structure and obelisk or communication towers to receive and broadcast radio waves to outer space to commune with aliens who were their overseers and overlords. The word translated in Genesis 3:1, serpent, is not snake in Hebrew, is nachas. It means whisper, wise one, enchanter, cunning one. It does not mean serpent, as in snake. The word Satan, translated in the Bible, so it just goes into the Satan, Satan, etc. But I hope that reading an update has put much more clarity. I mean, there's much more before that, but I just found the part that was relevant. If you'd like me to read more, then I'll read more. But are there any more questions so far as we're moving into 9 o'clock? Sakhamtat 9th, I see. Okay. Okay, there's a question text before I get to you, Sakamtat 9. There's a question by Theo. What do you mean by Caucasoids? Is that white or uncolored people? What does it encase? Yes, that's what we're referring to, Theo. We're talking about Caucasoid, because the reason why we use that oid as denotes that is in a particular form of body, okay? And the word Caucasus is, if you look between the Caspian Sea and the Caucasus Mountains, and another sea, there's two seas, the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, you see a region of mountainous region, and that mountainous region is referred to as the Caucasus Mountains. And the Caucasus Mountains is where the species known as the Canaanite race moved up there and mixed in with who were also another species of Adamites. And they moved into the Caucasus Mountains and mixed in with the beings or like we've just broken down. There's many species that was on the planet. And they mixed in with them to produce what we now know as the Caucasian or the white race. And they became your different clans, your Vikings, your Scandinavians, your this, your that, all of these different clans, the Germans, Celtics, Celtics, yeah, and then this became their religion, which was Wicca. Wicca became their religion. That's what they were, taught and indoctrinated with. And they used those Wicca powers and those their overseers helped them to establish empires that came and went into other countries and other native areas. And then this way you hear your story of your Hyksos dynasty moving into Egypt, and the story goes on and on and on. But that's like a different class. If you like us to touch on that, we can in another class. But yeah, essentially that's your Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains. That's why they refer to them as Caucasoids. I hope that answers that question. Sakhamta, you should get your Rahubat.
Ra'uat. I've got several questions. First one, you talked about Zupu and you mentioned Zion, like it was another word for Zion was Zupu. Am I correct?
Okay. Yes. So this Zupu is a sixth ether force. So when you're referring to Zion, Mount Zion or Zion, it's another name for Nana.
Also, Zion means Nana, because I was trying to say.
Not that it means, it's just a title, one of his titles.
Oh, so it's a title.
Yeah.
So equally, Nupu, would Nupu have a title? That's what I was trying to get at.
Well, Nupu, that would be Nagaru. That would be the Nagaru species, or the Nataru. So Nupu, the Nataru would represent Nuwaupu or Nupu. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And we are the physical children of the Nataru as 9 ether beings.
Okay, I was just trying to see what was the opposite of Zion.
Okay. Sion, it would be 9 ether, Nupu. It would, there's no opposite in that sense, in the sense of words. Not that I'm aware of anyway.
Okay. All right then.
Zaman. Sorry, quickly. I just wanted to, just touch on the Zion. Zion is Zuen as well.
Yeah, Tua.
All right.
That's like another transliteration of the word Zuen is Zion. That's right.
What does Zuen mean now?
So
because I think I've heard that.
Zu means animal or animal, master of animals. That's what it's actually breaking down to mean.
Oh.
Yeah, it's when you hear the word Anzu in ancient Mesopotamia. Yeah, Anzu was a title of a being that was responsible for, like say, he was like the controller of animals. And when you're saying animals, you're talking about the different manifestations of six ether. You see what I'm saying? So that power of Leviathan was imbued in Anzu. And that was just another rendition of the word Zu-En. You get what I'm saying? Master, like, you know, you say Enki or Enlil, it means master of the skies or master of the earth. So Zu-En, the N is talking about he was the master of animals.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got the zoo as animals. So yeah, master.
His
Okay.
other name is also Shakar, who is the father of Iblis, or
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, got that. So the next question, you know, you were talking about copper and gold and base metals and transitioning. I'm not too sure what number it was. It went on, I think, maybe between 68 and 78. You were reading.
Yeah.
But
would you like to read it, us to read it again? Reread it again?
yeah, that would be good.
Okay. So where are we then? Verse 68? No, okay. Verse 72 in it, really.
Yeah.
73. Yeah, verse 73.
Okay.
The reasoning of your own natural nature as Patahites, who originates and grows persons and things into system order, is deep tashud, concentration on black genetic magic or your chemistry, also called alchemy. 74. We as Naganadu Negroids are the metal copper, as that is what Naga means, copper, or metal copper. And as metal or matter, it must be transformed into gold. So that is copper, which is the element is Cu29 to Au79, which is gold. Is that the part you were talking about?
Exactly what I was talking about. Are we saying that through our chanting, prayer, meditation, mental reasoning, we will be transmuting ourselves from copper to gold?
Okay, exactly. What does our master teacher refer to us as? Jewels.
Jewels of his art, yeah.
Yeah, so we are being transformed into the original beings that we were, which is star beings made of gold. And if you go into further into the book, because there's two parts to this book, and the other part ties in more into like the genetics, etc. It's called the sacred ash. And within the sacred ash, that part, which we can cover in another reading because it'll have taken up time. If you do you have that book?
No.
You don't have dimensional shift. Okay. So in verse 80, no, go back to verse 78. Supernovas outshine whole galaxies because of the atoms with 30 protons, 14 protons. Actually, no, skip that. Verse 79. That's more better. Yet every so often, the star, so a star when it explodes as a galaxy and becomes a supernova, every so often a star will forge an odd number or one child. So if you look at this is a celestial so look at what I'm looking for. Astrophysical event taking place. Okay. That also can be translated into the anthropomorphic, which means that whatever happens in the heavens or the celestial environment or natural nature always has a visible and a physical representation. Do you follow what I'm saying? So everything that happens as in the above,
below,
as below, as above, so below. So this process that took place with a supernova of a sun and the birthing of a new star, that star is what you refer to as a child because it's been birthed. You follow?
Follow.
Right. Verse 80. The first of these, a real rarity, is Nabat gold, atomic number, a masculine element. This one child, so gold, yeah, represents this one child, Hara, or Horus, the unique chromosome of humans, 24,000 chromosomes, born without a twin sister or mitochondria, was in fact Waha, unique, the only begotten son, the golden child, having in him mafkhuzat, liquid gold, to pass on to Hatat Hathor. For each of you are a gold, this verse 84. For each of you are a gold atom, as each actual single gold atom in this universe is from that original creation, as is gold. After the supernova explosion, the rare gold atoms were cast deep into this universe, where they sit in empty space for 9 billion eons, as the baby sits for 9 months. Eventually, some join as atoms to form a cloud, which condenses into a planet. So this cloud, when it condenses into a planet, it seeps into the earth, Gabab or Nut, on earth, and this starts to formulate seeds. That's what's happening. Once inside a Kawak planet, Nutat, some of the atoms, brackets, cells, sperm, make their way to the surface ovum. So the process of Earth giving birth, Earth formulating its cells and its seeds is the same principle that's happening in the mother and the father when they come together. Do you see what I'm saying? The cells and the sperm fusing with the, yeah? Do you follow? All right. And it shines forth, or you uncover a gold nugget, a rough lump of pure gold, AU. Each of you travel the 9,000 miles for 9 million light years, Aye, Mumbatu, my golden children. So we are the golden children. And further to this, you can read also in, where was I reading it in? It's gonna come to me. Lost the train of thought. I was so excited to actually say it, and then it's gone now. Yeah, but it adds further build on this.
Okay.
Other part of that or actual facts.
When you were reading it or even explaining it, what it conjured up in me is that if we're doing all this meditation, prayers, chanting, what have you, and we are actually alchemizing ourselves into this gold, are we then producing or tapping into our own makuzet?
Exactly. The thing is, with the mafkuzat, you have to have a gland to activate it, and that's the barothry gland.
Which will be grown back, if I remember.
Exactly. And then those who are worthy, they will be then activated to be able to utilize it in order to, as you know what mafkuzat can do, you can travel interdimensionally, etc., etc. Yeah. This is all what's taking place. We're being transformed without us even realizing it.
Okay, so yeah, I got the understanding of that. And my other question was, you mentioned underwater transmission from with each species that had their own pyramid underwater.
Oh,
Was
from
that
the reading?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that
from,
was
okay, from the Zupu reading regarding the okay. Okay, so right, both sides had their own both sides had their undersea energy sources. The westward is now called the Angel's Triangle. The eastward is called the Devil's Triangle. Each side had their own pyramid structure in obelisk or communication towers to receive and broadcast radio waves. to outer space to commune with aliens who were their overseers and overlords. Is that the part you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know why I put them underwater. I thought the pyramids
Oh,
were
okay.
underwater.
Well, they've been submerged underwater, but initially they were above.
On land.
Yeah, on land.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And then it sunk, because when they sunk what's it called? Atlantis and Lemuria, what they referred to as Atlantis. Yeah, the power structure there, it went underneath, but the in the Bermuda Triangle. So the other triangle is known as the Devil's Triangle. One's called the Angel's Triangle, Bermuda, and the other one's called the Devil's Triangle, which is in the Far East Asia area.
Yeah, but all of them are still transmitting, I'm
They're
guessing.
still transmitting. That's why sometimes the master explain about, well, we know when they fly into that zone, when it gets activated, crafts and ships or planes get dragged into that and they get lost in the vortex and end up, in another dimension. So this is what
Yeah.
happens when they're leaving. But yeah, it's still activated now. It's still being
Okay.
used.
And this is my last question. Sorry.
Sure.
Um, you mentioned someone asked about the orbs, and you mentioned that Pleiadians actually are represented with these orbs. Is it just
Sure.
Pleiadians, or is it different Anunnakis what use this orb shape light?
No, they when they're born, they come as on. So let me that was from the reading the ghost, right?
Yeah, you guys read it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was talking about. I don't think you read it. I think someone just asked about it and you was explaining it about the.
Yeah, but I did read an actual part of that called The Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you were in the class at that time.
Maybe not.
Yeah, so it explains here that these Kamau Pleiadians who can shapeshift, yeah, transfigure and come as spirit forces like white little orbs or ghost apparitions, fire orbs. You see, so and it gives, and the master explains that, yeah, so it's the Pleiadians. They have the ability to do that, yeah.
Oh, it's just the Pleiadians.
Then he goes and take on human form, angelic form. No, it's the Pleiadians, yeah. They can take on different forms, a gray form, a relative, because they're also dream walkers. They can actually go and come into your dream and it can take on the image. But as it explains, when they take on the image of a relative, just to make it clear, only if the relative have lost their soul.
Oh, really?
If you have a soul, they can't take on the image. That's why Parnabab said they can't come as me in your dreams because they don't have a soul.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
the master
because
it's like a protection kind of thing.
okay, because someone I was talking to someone yesterday, and he showed me on his phone that he had some pictures of these orbs of light in his back garden. He said they come in regular, and he didn't understand it. So now you was explaining it, I can pass that on to him because he didn't know what to do about it. And I said, whatever you do, don't go outside.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so that alludes to the fact that, they're attracted by these, as we explained,
Light.
these lights,
Yeah.
LED lights. So, at the moment, what has been used as our form of to counter it is the burning of sage. You get what I'm saying? Playing our tones, etc., because it weakens them.
Sure, I'll pass that on. Taratak.
Antakatira for Zanata. Any questions?
Got a question
From Jackie.
Okay. Theo has his hand up.
Oh, right. Theo, and then we'll go to Jackie. Theo, go far away with your question.
Can you hear me? You mentioned earlier about, I don't know if you specifically said dragons, but something maybe cross in the likeness of dragons. Have dragons ever existed in the way it's depicted in films and by society, if you know what I mean?
Sorry, ask that question again. Have dragons been depicted in movies?
I said have dragons how they are depicted in movies, like
okay.
flying, like it said, flying serpents. Have they ever
Okay,
existed in that form?
right. I follow you now. Not in the form. Some have wings. Okay, some have wings. These okay. The word dragon is from the word Draco or Drakion. So it's an English rendition of the word Drakion. Do you follow?
Yeah.
So these Draconians, these Dracos are from a star system of Dracos. Okay? And they come here. Some of them do have wings. Now, what has happened is man's imagination has then depicted them and what's the word? Exaggerated that these beings to become dragons of old with wings, liking gold, fire breathing, etc., etc. Just see what I'm saying? So it's man's imagination that has then exaggerated what these actual beings were who come from the Draco star system.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
May I just add a little bit to that, Zama?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, so you have many draconians and reptilians and different species, and the specific species that's been spoken about are known as the Marid, and these are the ones that my brother Usia was saying they have wings. But what they did is they came here in these crafts, and this is what they call the flying serpent. And then in the Bible, as I think Usia mentioned before, that the serpent, or they called him a serpent because of the fact that they were reptilians. And then it became a snake in the garden, but the word is not snake. It was dealing with the species of Marid, known as the reptilians or the draconians. So they just added the flying saucers that they had lights, and they said, they made them into spitting fire and so on. So you can see the combination of the crafts they came in and the actual reptilian, which they refer to as a dragon, put together, as Usia just said, it's just got exaggerated into flying serpent because these reptilians do have wings and could fly as well.
Sure.
So just wanted to touch on that. Tawa.
Yeah, even like sparked again back to the what we were reading about the terraforming of this planet. That reading I read, the update, where it talks about a few of the species. So you had the Mudganu, the Mudbabu, lizard men, snake men, lizard men, Mutnanu, dragon men, Mudgagu, mermen, and they were of both genders. These were called by the Anuna, which has been broken down, what the Sumerians called them, Anunnaki, but their true name is Anuna. These were called by the Anuna U-Shungal. And then it says you will find its root meaning in ancient Semitic dialects, Ushungal, Shungal, and the word illuminate, the word illuminate, sky, mighty, strong wheel, as Brother Sakin was explaining. Many call them dragons of the skies. You see where man's imagination is now, so many call them dragons of the skies. Flying serpents. These were the crafts that they flew. Yes, as Sakin explained. Okay.
You have a question from Jackie in the chat.
What?
I'm not sure if you're checking the Clubhouse because I'm not on Clubhouse.
My Clubhouse has just gone off. I've no idea. I think I am gonna make a complaint to Clubhouse for my own purposes because I've been cut off twice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, so you have Jackie on Zoom chat.
Okay.
Well, Jack is asking, when a mother has a child with Down syndrome, does this mean that the ET with those chromosomes is in the mother's genetics? Yes, is the answer.
Elaborate a bit further. Tua. It's coming from the genes of the Sunanin Tero. These were extraterrestrials that resided in the caverns of the earth. Yeah, so I've lost you now.
Yes.
Yeah, so in the caverns of the earth, there live different species of extraterrestrials who've been visiting this planet for ages. So Earth is not solid. Earth has many tunnels and environments where extraterrestrials have been residing for millions of years. So these particular Tero, they come from a star system known as Jomon, the Jomon star system. This is what the Chinese refer to in their writings. So these Jomon, that genetic trait is also by way of them coming here and mixing in with earth beings, or, you know, trying to look more humanoid, because the Tero had cone heads. And this is the story that goes into another story of your Yakub and a mixture of genes, etc. there. But so these Tero, that was one aspect. And then you also had the Dunakil, not the Dunakil, the Duwani, who also had a play in genetics as well. So their genes were being used. And this is why your Orientals have hollow hair. So it was genetic manipulation that was taking place. And part of the genetic trait also comes from the Sans people, who also have the genetic trait having the epicanthic fold, or the slanted eyes as they refer to it as. So these particular genes have expressed themselves more predominantly in that species or in that race of people. And that because of the fact that the Tero had the extra chromosome. They had 48 chromosome. Humans have 46, and the mixture produced your 47 chromosome. And obviously the variations of the Down syndrome manifested from that. You with me? So yes, it is a genetic inheritance, but sometimes it's expressed in the genes based on what the mother has been feeling, eating, or just naturally it will just come out, and then the child will have Down syndrome, no fault of his own. So yeah, that's what took place, or can take place when a mother is carrying a child. I hope that helps. Go Jackie again. Jackie, thumbs up if you could, if that helped explain your question. And then there's more. Is there more?
An extension, a second question.
Okay. With those chromosomes, it's the mother's genetics yet, but we can't get to the second question, can we?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
You know.
Okay, it says here, you know how, oh, sorry.
The Nagarus would be accused of being from the curse, from Noah's curse on Ham's son, Canaan. However, it's the Caucasian that is from this curse.
So,
however, is.
Sorry, read that again. Made it larger? Yeah. Probably larger.
Let's go. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I'll see that.
You know how the Nagaras would be accused of being from the curse from Noah's curse on Ham's son, Canaan. However, it's the Caucasian that is from this curse. I suppose that's the question. Is the Caucasian from this curse?
Okay. Well, no, because Canaan was born an albino. Canaan was still Nagaru, but he had albino. So it was in his genes to manifest. Just what I'm saying, it's something that was going to manifest in his genes eventually. Yeah, because what the other aspect of the story that ties into this is that Noah had Pleiadian genes in him. When you read the book of Enoch. In the book of Enoch, it explains in there about Noah transforming, and he was shining. So he was going through a transformation. The reason why he's going through a transformation, when you read your Bible, it talks about Noah, he drank, he got drunk, and then his children saw his nakedness, etc., etc. But what's been eliminated or edited out, redacted, yeah, modern day terms, redacting, okay, is that he was into a transformative state. And being that he was in a transformative state, that genes was coming out, and it affected the genes in his children because of Ham seeing his father, which they weren't supposed to see. So it shocked Ham, and that shock brought on the genetic expression, the genes express. So if you know about trauma, etc., it can express genes. Just I'm saying certain genes can manifest, and the genes that manifested or expressed in Ham was then passed on through his son, who was born an albino, and that became Canaan. So Canaan was still of the Negroid. I wouldn't say African, he was of the Negroid race, you see what I'm saying? But he eventually ended up mixing in with other dwellers in the mountains, as we explained earlier, and that gave birth to your 11 tribes, and then eventually they mixed in and gave birth to your many Caucasians and different clans and, families that exist. So can you speak on
before that?
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes, so we have to kind of like answer this in quick succession. Are the Sumerians the same as the Anunnaki? The Sumerians call them the Anunnaki. So no, they're not the same, although the Anunnaki did mix in with the Sumerians. So that's the short rendition of the answer. Okay. Next one from Rosalind. Rahubat, can you explain the Zeta reptilians and the relationship with the Nagaru? You have to be a bit more specific, because Zeta is a massive star system, and reptilians, there are many different species, and the relation with the Nagaru. Many extraterrestrials are mixed in. In fact, we are also reptilian. You just have to think logically as to how you're a reptilian. You look at your mother's womb, the first trimester, you don't look like how you look now. Just what I'm saying, you've morphed into something else. But you had wings, you were breathing, etc. So there's different aspects of your evolution. But yes, extraterrestrials, reptilians have played a part in our evolution as human beings. And then can you speak on O plus O and O? We can, but it's going to be a long one. So we have to take in the next class, unfortunately, Rosalind. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, I shook back. Okay, last 3 minutes. Any burning questions before we close for class? Okay, let's read from. I'm going to read something on top part.
You had two hands up, Theo and Sakamta.
Okay, Rahubat, Theo, and Sakamta. Go ahead. I just figured out how this working works. Okay, that's great stuff, Rosalind. Great. Right, Theo, fire away with your question.
You mentioned Hollow Earth earlier.
Sure.
I know one of the entrances to Hollow Earth is in Antarctica.
Okay.
Are there any other entrances on Earth other than Antarctica?
You plan to go there? You're packing your suitcase?
Yeah, you never know, innit?
Yes, the Gobi Desert and also parts of the pyramids
Are these also locked off from anyone being able to get to them, like Antarctica is?
Yes, they've been guarded, etc. Yeah, there are guards there, and obviously some certain higher people in this governments, do you know what I mean, of the world governments, they're aware of these places. But yeah, it's protected.
Have to try and sneak in.
Yeah, of course, man. Why not, man? Okay, last question from
Yeah.
Tamtat.
Yeah. Did you just say that one of Noah's children was not a Nagaru, was not African, or he was a Nagaru, but he wasn't African? I didn't
Yeah,
get that one.
because remember the Canaanites or the Adamites, they were extracted from the original beings that were on the planet. So Nakibu, being of the South African tribe, her genes came from her mother, of the Bushmen, who had mixed in with the Greys millions of years ago. And they extracted that gene. And then what they did was they extracted the gene from the Watusi gene from Cadman's father or Zakar's father, remember? Okay. So the root seed was African. But once they placed their image and their likeness, as it says in the Bible, God created man in his image and after his likeness. These were then the Anunnaki doing their experiments and the Pleiadians. So when Noah came about, remember they said he was perfect in his generation. What the master is explaining is the word, you look at the word generation, you look at the word genes and genetics. So he was perfect in his genes, his Pleiadian genes. But one thing that happens in the Pleiadian genes is that transformation can take place if you're under certain
stresses,
conditions or influences. Exactly. So when he partook of the wine, that he got drunk, but because he was not under control of his senses and his faculties, he was transforming. You see what I'm saying? But the Pleiadian gene was in him. Some of these breakdowns I'm explaining, that's why, as I say to you, Master Teacher has been guiding us a long time, but it's in a lot of the updates as well. And some of the, if I'm pretty sure, I'm sure the proof goes into it as well.
So what I'm hearing you saying, the Greys, the Bushmen, the Pleiadian were all a mixture of these beings, of Noah and his children.
That's
They
right.
were
Yeah, they had the genes in them.
okay.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
okay. So you call them Nagaru, but they're not Nagaru. So they might look like us in
Well, the
some
word
way.
Nagaru, then the word, remember, the Adamites were created as a food source and they were created as workers. That was their main point for creating them. They were then given a set amount of laws and rules to be, to guide them. But because of their nature, which is that of the Anunnaki, they were very overpowering. Do you see what I'm saying? And they were very domineering. That's why I said we gave you dominion. They were given dominion. But as the dominion came, they became unruly. And then don't forget, down the line, when sorry, no, it's not Esau, when Enosh and Seth came on the scene, there was a lot of mixture from the fallen angelic beings, the Nephalu, the seed of Enlil, who had also now mixed in. Do you see what I'm saying? These were your 200 fallen angelic beings or Anunnaki.
Okay.
Does that make
So
sense? Yeah. So
it does make.
there's a lot of mixture before the advent of the mixing between your Flugorods, who were in the Caucasus Mountains where Canaan went, and Canaan then mixed in with them. And then he also ended up mixing in with the dark-skinned Adamites as well, coming down from the mountains. They were also Nagaru in a sense of the copper in tone in skin. So Abraham would have been dark-skinned, but his hair was, just I'm saying, was of like a 7 ether, 8 ether. That's why the master depicted him like that. But he was an Adamite. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm getting from you that these people, because of the different mixtures, will have different hues. Who? Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the word you. Yeah.
Hugh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Hugh,
pronounce it properly.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. Because you called him Negroid, I thought, okay, it must come from Africa.
No,
But
Negroid
no.
as in remember, Negroid defines your phenotype, your features. See, remember a Dravidian can look Negroid. You seen dark-skinned Asian people, and
Yes.
they've got broad nose, broad lips, even to the point. Satya Sai Baba. Go and look at.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know
exactly,
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
exactly. But he's not African.
No. Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
gotcha. So that's what you meant.
All right.
Gotcha. Tawata.
We will now conclude class.
Zama, sorry.
Okay.
I know you're about to close.
Okay,
If
no
I may
worries.
just, I just wanted to, what it is that the biblical stories confuse everyone, because when you look at the Noah story, that's supposed to be like after the flood, and then they were starting over again. But what people don't realize is, like the master was saying, well, where did evil come from if everybody was wiped out because of evil? And it was because Anak was also in the, for lack of a better word, the ghost form, and then came back through the sons of Noah by way of, as you say, Ham, and then that's how evil came back again in terms of it manifesting in the genetics by way of the curse.
Sure. Yep. Talk again, Zamal. Like, can we bounce off each other? Right. Moisar, Tawakum Lahe Ya Toy Panin Kayat. You could have been doing many other things, but we appreciate that you were here with us and listening intently, knowing who the Master, our Savior in this day and time is, Partner Babiyan Nanan, okay, the Master Teacher, okay, visualize, as we've read from the Mind Link, okay, Sacred Ash, dimensional links, should I say, and in there is showing you what we're capable of doing if we focus our minds on his freedom, on us ourselves ultimately also being free and unifying. We have this is the power that we have, which they've tried so much intently to strip away from us or make us not believe that we have this power. So I'll end with that. There's much more I could have read, but there's many other classes. Stay tuned in. Tuesdays, okay, we have readings. On Tuesday, we have Saken on OSM. If it's gonna be still functional, I'm not too sure how that's gonna be handled.
Toa going on.
Okay, Tawata Zamal. So that's still going on. We're live on that. Thursdays we have readings. We have readings on Wednesday. We're gonna be starting hopefully our Miss Batia classes in the near future. So let's all unify together. Focus on the Master Teacher walking amongst us again. Okay. All right. And what do Moisar? Oh, while we're Zamalta, you saying something? Nicole?
What time on Wednesday do you do your reading?
Reading is done on Thursday at 7:30. Look out for the link.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. So yeah, anybody's free to come on that. We do a study read, and you can take notes and come back to the Saturday classes and ask your questions. So we try to build it up so you have you're filled and you're flowing with questions and understanding of who you really are and what this wu-nuwaup is about, and who what we're supposed to do as a race of people, because it's gonna get tough and we have to band together. All classes are free. All classes are free, so make sure you tune in. Yeah, Tawakum, Wadu, Ashok.
Ashok and Wadu.
Who is God? God is God.
I found out that this man who was Dr. Malachi York.
This free-eye actors thing, they're playing on the ignorance of the masses. They let you know what they want you to know.
I said I was going to take all y'all back to Egypt with me. I can't because the Arabs are messing everything up, so hell, I'm bringing Egypt here for you.
They've made so much jokes about aliens, but the word really is extraterrestrials or extra beings.
A sweet myth. In our language, that means the black man.
They say, oh, it's a craft, and then you start to look at the whole Anunnaki thing. The devil was telling the truth, and God was lying.
Amongst us, we have those beings, those high beings, going back 9 billion years ago, who are here on the planet,
extraterrestrial do leave their children here. We can name drop them. David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, caught up in their spiritual or their scientific knowledge of who they were, and they were caught up in both worlds.
Within the center of the earth is hollow. There's beings that actually live and reside in there.
They now have fighter jets whereby it's connected to the pilot's subconscious.
Hitler was building these crafts in the Antarctic.
You can't claim innocence due to ignorance. It doesn't say at the beginning, it says in the beginning. That means during a replenishing period. So that means that the earth was already there.
Some lost their soul because they've mixed in with other creatures on the planet. And when you mix in with other creatures on a lower level.
Souls are recycled. Spirits are recycled. Most people have not been taught the information about the spirit and the soul.